Hello, my name is Matt Allen, and I'm an environmental health specialist with the Ottawa County Health Department. Welcome to today's video, Personal Hygiene, Appearance, Behavior, Health, and Hand Washing. In today's video, we will be discussing personal hygiene with a particular focus on appearance, behavior, employee health and illness, and hand washing. It is our goal that with this video, we would be able to distribute it to all food service personnel, including management, staff, and others in the food industry. The Michigan Department of Agriculture has set a goal to reduce the risk factors that cause foodborne illness in food service establishments. There are 5 risk factors identified by the Center for Disease Control and the Food and Drug Administration as the most common causes of foodborne illness. These include poor personal hygiene, improper holding temperatures, inadequate cooking, food and equipment contamination, food from unsafe sources. In today's video, we will be discussing poor personal hygiene. Remember, personal hygiene includes appearance, behaviors, employee health and illness, and hand washing. Poor personal hygiene. Appearance. Hair restraint required, clean clothing, minimal jewelry, no fake nails or nail polish, covered wounds. First, we will talk about appearance. Appearance is more than just looking good. A neat, clean appearance helps maintain a contaminant-free environment and safe food. Hair restraint required. All food service workers need to wear a hair restraint. A hair restraint needs to cover and contain hair to prevent the contamination of food. A hairnet or baseball cap is an example of an acceptable hair restraint. A visor is not an example of a hair restraint. A hair restraint may also include a beard restraint for facial hair and clothing, such as a shirt for excessive body hair. The purpose of a hair restraint is to prevent hair from falling into food, causing the contamination of food, and to keep food service workers from touching their hair, causing contamination of their hands. Food service workers handling only prepackaged food or having minimal contact with uncovered food are not required to wear a hair restraint. For example, a waitress that carries food on trays would not need a hair restraint. A waitress that makes salads and portions dressings would need a hair restraint. Remember, if you have exposed hair, then you must restrain it. Clean clothing. Food service workers must wear clean clothes when coming to work. This prevents contaminants from being brought into the facility. Dog hair, paint, gasoline, and dirt are examples of contaminants that must not get into the food. Minimal jewelry. Food service workers need to wear minimal jewelry. The only jewelry permitted is a plain wedding band. Bracelets, rings, watches, and brass knuckles are not. Jewelry can provide hard-to-clean areas where pathogens hide. Jewelry can also fall off into food. No fake nails or nail polish. Food service workers must keep their nails clean and short so that bacteria and contaminants do not build up beneath them. Food service workers should be encouraged to not wear nail polish or fake nails. If nail polish or fake nails are worn, then workers must wear gloves at all times when handling food. Covered wounds. Food service workers must cover open wounds. Wounds can be a source of bacteria that cause contamination of food and an outbreak of foodborne illness. Wounds on exposed body parts, particularly hands and arms, must be covered with a bandage and a protective layer. For example, a shirt or glove. Use brightly colored bandages so they are easily observed if they fall off. You need to restrict employees with severe, weeping, and open wounds on hands and arms to certain jobs away from food. For example, a dishwasher has a large cut on his hand and must clean tables, sweep, and rotate boxes until the wound has healed. Appearance is about more than just looking good. It is being prepared to do a good job. A clean appearance keeps the food safe and the customers coming back for more. Poor personal hygiene. Behaviors. No smoking. No eating, no gum chewing, covered beverages, proper tasting, no bare hand contact. Poor personal hygiene is the #2 cause of foodborne illness. Your personal hygiene behaviors directly affect the safety and quality of food made. No smoking. Smoking is not allowed in any food area such as the kitchen, food storage, or food preparation areas. Smoking contaminates both food and your hands. In Michigan, smoking is not allowed anywhere in the facility or where food or beverage is intended to be consumed.
Have a designated smoking area outside the building where employees can go for break and make sure they wash their hands when they return. No eating. Eating is not allowed in any food area such as the kitchen, food storage, or food preparation areas. Eating contaminates food and your hands. Saliva can carry bacteria such as Staphylococcus aureus that can cause foodborne illness. Eating should be done in an approved, designated location or break room. No gum chewing. Gum chewing is not allowed by food service workers. Saliva can spray from a person's mouth and accidentally contaminate the food or food contact surface where someone is working. The same goes for toothpicks, suckers, and candy. Covered beverages. You are allowed to have a beverage with a lid and straw or a to-go style lid. The purpose of the approved lid is to prevent your mouth and hand from touching the same place on the cup and saliva contaminating your hands. Twist-off caps, pull-up caps, or wide-mouth cans are not approved. A single service cup filled, drank from once, and immediately discarded is also acceptable. If used, employee beverages must be properly stored in a break room, on a lower shelf, or in an approved designated location. Employee beverages must not be stored on a prep table or in an area where food or food contact surfaces can be contaminated. Proper tasting. Tasting is allowed, but it must be done with care. A clean utensil is dipped into the food, and the chef immediately tastes the food and then places the now contaminated utensil with the dirty dishes. A tasting utensil must never be used more than once. Improper tasting of food can lead to contamination when the used utensil goes back into the food. Remember, tasting is not sampling. No bare hand contact. Ready-to-eat foods must be handled with gloves or utensils and not your bare hands. Examples of ready-to-eat foods include, but are not limited to, cooked foods, breads, salads, sandwiches, fruit, vegetables, and garnishes. Your bare hands are a source of contamination. Wearing gloves or using utensils such as tongs, toothpicks, deli tissues, bar swords, and scoops can prevent contamination of food.
Sloppy employee behaviors result in poor personal hygiene. Small changes in behaviors can prevent foodborne illness.
Poor personal hygiene, employee illnesses. Big Five: Salmonella, Shigella, E. coli, norovirus, hepatitis A. Symptoms: vomiting, diarrhea, sore throat with fever, jaundice. Restrictions and exclusions: stay away from food, stay away from work.
The illnesses of food service workers cause foodborne outbreaks. Every food service establishment must have an employee illness policy. This policy should detail illnesses, symptoms, and what actions to take. Ideally, a written plan would be shared with each employee and posted in the facility for reference. Raising the awareness about employee illnesses can help prevent foodborne illness outbreaks.
The Big Five foodborne illnesses, which are most likely to cause foodborne illness outbreaks, are Salmonella, Shigella, E. coli 0157H7, norovirus, and hepatitis A. The Big Five spread easily and cause severe illness. These diseases must be reported to the health department. If you suspect you have one of these or have been exposed, contact a healthcare provider. Symptoms: food service workers must not work if they are having symptoms of vomiting, diarrhea, sore throat with fever, or jaundice. You could easily transmit your illness to food, coworkers, or customers during stocking, handling, preparation, cooking, and serving. If symptoms get worse or do not go away, then contact a healthcare provider. Employees must be notified that they are required to report these symptoms to a manager, and the manager must take appropriate action. A manager must restrict or exclude sick workers based on their illness and symptoms. Restrictions and exclusions. You may not work with vomiting, diarrhea, or untreated jaundice. A diagnosis with any of the Big Five illnesses excludes a food service worker from working in a food service establishment until it is proven you are no longer ill. Food service workers that are ill with minor symptoms or recently allowed back to work after severe illness should be restricted from handling food and food contact surface. For example, sweeping floors, handling trash, or holding a sign on the street corner would be approved. A good rule of thumb is not to return to work until 48 hours after symptoms end, or not until you have received 2 negative stool samples. Please refer to the food code for specifics or contact your local health department.
Employee illnesses cause outbreaks of foodborne illness. Knowledge of the Big Five, symptoms of illnesses, and proper restriction and exclusion are necessary to keep both you and your customers healthy.
Poor personal hygiene, hand washing, designated hand sink, 20 seconds, glove use.
Food handlers must wash their hands to prevent contaminating food and food contact surfaces. Proper hand washing is one of the most important things you can do to prevent poor personal hygiene. When done correctly, hand washing is both easy and effective.
Designated hand sink. In order to wash your hands, you need somewhere to wash them. A properly set up hand sink includes hot water, soap, paper towel or hand dryer, and hand wash sign. A hand sink is not the prep sink, 3-compartment sink, mop sink, or bathroom sink. 20 seconds. Approach the hand sink. It may be necessary to pre-dispense paper towel. Turn on the hot water as hot as you can stand. Run hands under water and apply soap. Vigorously rub all parts of hands, fingers, and exposed arms for at least 20 seconds. The most commonly missed parts of the hands include the backs of the thumbs, webs of fingers, backs of hands, and lower palms. Rinse olive soap off your hands and dry with paper towel. Turn off the faucet with a paper towel to prevent recontamination of hands. Discard paper towel in a trash can. If you have an air dryer for your hands, you may still need to use paper towel to turn off the faucet. Glove use. Proper hand washing results in clean hands. Gloves must go on clean hands. As was mentioned previously, bare hand contact is not allowed with ready-to-eat foods, and gloves are an approved barrier. If you choose to wear gloves, you must wash your hands first to prevent contamination of the gloves.
Proper hand washing effectively cleans hands and prevents foodborne illness. There's no excuse for not washing your hands properly or often.
Taking an active role in your establishment is critical to the prevention of foodborne illness. Following the techniques of good personal hygiene through emphasizing appearance, behavior, employee health, and hand washing can reduce the risk of foodborne illness. Good personal hygiene is everyone's responsibility. Can you answer yes to the following questions? Do you know the proper technique for washing your hands? Do you know the Big Five illnesses and when to exclude ill workers? Do you wear a hair restraint when working? Do you wear gloves to prevent bare hand contact? Do you leave the kitchen to eat or smoke? Are all your hand sinks properly stocked and accessible? Have you trained your employees about good personal hygiene? If you answered no to any of the questions above, how will you make changes?
Remember to wash your hands, exclude ill employees from the establishment, and do not let yourself be the source of contamination that causes a foodborne illness outbreak. I'm Matt Allen with the Ottawa County Health Department, and I would like to thank you for watching this video, Personal Hygiene, Appearance, Behaviors, Employee Health, and Hand Washing.